Right, good morning. The sun is shining. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. What a game yesterday night. What a game. I mean, credit to Arsenal. They've actually done the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the unfathomable. Arsenal through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. I cannot believe it. I am still pinching myself. And you have to give credit to Arsenal because let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. Arteta has been criticised and questioned time and time again about Arsenal's lack of self belief or whether they have the minerals when it truly matters to get over the line. And I think these guys have proved that they do have the minerals, they do have the self belief, then they do have the mentality to be able to achieve as a team. And the proof was there for all to see because they have been absolutely phenomenal over the past two legs. They were brilliant at the Emirates, and they were equally as good yesterday at the Bernabeu. I mean that defense they gave Mbappe no chance. They gave Bellingham no chance. They gave Vinicius Junior, who I personally think has been poor in both games. Okay, he did well yesterday, but he's been poor over the two legs. They gave him no chance. Real Madrid did not have an answer. They didn't have an answer. They didn't have an answer for Arsenal yesterday. Arsenal were absolutely amazing, brilliant, and they deserve to get through. As I say, it's a new dawn and a new day for Arsenal. They've come close, mate. They've come close because they were in the Champions League final in 2006, first London team to actually do that. But they've come close in other competitions. They've come close in regard to into the Premier League in recent time, but they just never had enough to get over the line. But I think they are growing as a collective. I think they're growing as a collective, and you can see the self belief. You can see that camaraderie between the players, and I think they believe in Arteta's vision. And if they've bought into it, because boy oh boy, if there's one team that can come back from that type of deficit, you put your house on Real Madrid to do so. But Real Madrid could not do anything. It couldn't do anything. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say, you know what, Real Madrid are shit, they're rubbish, they're the worst thing ever. But that'd be unfair. You're talking about world class footballers here. You're talking about Bellingham. You're talking about Mbappe. You're talking about Rudiger. You're talking about Vinicius Junior. These are world class players. But you have to give credit to Arsenal because they did a number on them twice. And even with that being said, even when they went to the Bernabeu last night, I still, even by the start of the first whistle, I still felt Real Madrid had something in there. But the more the game progressed, I just thought, you know what? It's written in the stars for Arsenal. It's written in the stars for Arsenal. And I tell you what, when Saka missed that penalty, I felt, oh man, this might be, it might be a catalyst for them to kind of put their heads down and let Real Madrid just storm them. But that didn't happen. These players, they kept on going. I haven't seen this from Arsenal in recent times, and and what they did yesterday was absolutely incredible. Saka was, he didn't let it get to, he didn't let him affect, he didn't let the penalty miss affect him. He just got on with it, and he scored a lovely, lovely finish, lovely goal, lovely little dink over Couture yesterday. And I tell you what, yeah, credit to him because I wouldn't have been surprised if Arsenal had lost that game. That they would have, yeah. Let's be honest. That they would have ripped into Saka. He would have copped the blame, wouldn't he? But lucky for him, he was on the score sheet. I thought he was amazing yesterday. I felt the midfield was absolutely fantastic again. Declan Rice, what an engine in midfield alongside Partey. I mean, those boys they turned up. They turned up and they played out of their socks yesterday, and they deserve the victory. Arsenal, they deserve the victory. You know, going to Real Madrid, going to the Bernabeu is daunting, but these guys they just turned up and they didn't let the occasion, or the atmosphere, they didn't let it affect them. They weren't intimidated at all by Real Madrid. And at one stage, you would have felt that Arsenal were the home side. I mean, you could hear the chants from the Arsenal supporters, and rightly so. I always laugh when Arsenal supporters What were they chanting yesterday? I think they said, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" And this is Real Madrid we're talking about, and you've got Arsenal supporters chanting, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. But they have every right to do so. These Arsenal supporters, they have every right to do so. I'm sure every single Arsenal supporter that's waking up today, this morning, will be believing that they've got every chance of getting to the final. That's how impressive they've been over the past two legs. And as I say, Real Madrid are not a walk in the park. This is the mighty Real Madrid. They are the most successful European team in this competition. It's Real Madrid. They're the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid. So I have no doubts that they'll be back again. Real Madrid will be back again. Yeah, sometimes they win it one year and then they go away and then they come back and then they win it twice or whatever the case may be. So they were unlucky, but those players need to look at themselves. Vinicius Junior. I am being heavily critical on Vinicius Junior because he is a quality player, and yeah, he showed signs of that yesterday, but it just wasn't enough. Bellingham, I didn't really see Bellingham in the game. Yeah, he works hard for the team, but in these types of critical matches, you need more from your key players. Mbappe again, yeah, quiet man. I didn't see enough from Mbappe, and I felt maybe he could have done a little bit more. Because in these types of matches, you need your star players to step up to the plate, and they didn't. Yeah, Vinicius pulled one back, and even at that stage, you still felt, oh, maybe Real Madrid can still do something special. Maybe they can do the unthinkable, but it just wasn't to be. And once Martinelli scored that goal, it was a wrap. In the 93rd minute, it was a wrap. It was done and dusted. Arsenal supporters, Arsenal fans, Arsenal players, and personnel and what have you. You've booked yourself a place in the semi-finals, and I think as a collective, as a team, they deserve it. You guys deserve it. However, it's not going to be easy. You've still got to take on PSG. PSG are probably they've probably been the best team in the Champions League this year. I think they've probably been the best team in the Champions League. So that'll be a great game, no doubt, because they play attacking football and what have you, and it's always been, very entertaining to watch this season. So it will be good to see Arsenal go against PSG and see whether they can overcome that type of hurdle. And then don't forget, Inter Milan looks strong as well. So that game against Barcelona is going to be pretty interesting as well. So if Arsenal can overcome PSG, get to the final, they've still got a task against Barcelona, who are ridiculous this season, and Inter Milan, who've been equally impressive as well. And mind you, I think Inter Milan are chasing a treble. I think they're hunting down a treble as well. So they've got a lot of motivation, and I'm sure that they will be more than up for the task against Barcelona. So kudos to Arsenal. They've done it. And yeah, we look forward to the semi-finals and see how that goes.